Hello, hello. Hi, y'all. Um, hmm. So cause we are waiting to get Mr. Credle over here, but while we're waiting, I do want to talk about the documentary, 12 Years in Hell, and especially since I'm from the city, I feel like I definitely have some things to say, and it's very relatable. The crack epidemic, your family members being on drugs, very hard drugs, family members that you wouldn't expect. So I definitely been watching it. Um, I hope y'all been watching it. Let me see if y'all been watching the documentary. Have y'all watched it at all? It's on YouTube. What is the YouTube channel? The YouTube channel, let me see. The YouTube channel is Cop Stories, and it's 12 Years in Hell, Blood of a City. Let me see. Blood of a City, Washington, D.C. And being from here, losing people, all of it is very relatable, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it because it was perspectives that I didn't expect. It was cop perspectives, detectives of different divisions and stuff. And it showed how they were affected too. And that's something that we forget. We forget because we feel like the police is always against us. So, let me see. Let me see what's going on. Y'all gotta say something. Let's talk. Let's talk. Let's take up a little bit of time. Let's interact with each other. Um, so my name is B Octavia. I'm from YouTube. That's where most of my following is. And basically I talk about different stories from different places, but mainly DC for right now. I feel like honoring my city, that's what I can do. Share people's pain and people's stories, but you gotta learn some lessons behind that. You can't just talk about something and then just keep it pushing. You gotta really explain yourself, explain the lessons that you learn from hearing it, from reading an article, from watching a documentary. You got to talk about it. um but yeah, so I'm over here to have a discussion about that documentary, and the documentary is by Mitch Credle. And I've never talked to a homicide detective, or retired, I should say, homicide detective, but that will be very interesting. So, yeah. Hold on. Mm, I don't even know how to work this. Let me see. I always go live on Instagram, so I don't really know how to work this one. But, yeah. Hey, everybody that's coming in. Let me know, all of y'all, let me know if y'all have seen the documentary or not. Have y'all seen 12 Years in Hell? How did you feel? Because I'm finna tell y'all, did it change my perspective on the police? Hello. Um, I mean, my perspective on the police is not, I'm not angry at all police, but the bad ones, the corrupt ones, the ones that don't do their job properly, those are the ones I have a problem with. Um, Let me see. Did it change my perspective? It didn't necessarily change my perspective, but it did show that they do get affected. Most of the time when I see police, and I've dealt with police, on a family dispute level and things to that nature. But anytime that I've dealt with them, I never really felt any empathy, or I never really felt like they felt anything, because they don't do nothing, but nonetheless, about the situation, I mean. But it didn't necessarily change my perspective, but it was good to see. It was good to see how affected they get by talking about the situations that they involved in, or was involved in. Like the homicide at the police headquarters or detective headquarters, however you want to put it. That part it almost made me cry, because it was just like, I mean, I can't imagine being that close to a massacre. You know what I mean? I can't imagine, and it don't matter who you is. You know what I'm saying? That's what it taught me. Like, you gotta feel something for a person that's been through something so traumatic. Just like mothers losing their sons and mothers losing their children in general. You gotta feel something for those officers and for those detectives that didn't make it out of there alive. You gotta feel something for the people that it impacted in a community, whether that be the police community or our community, So it was well put together. Like, I was saying to myself, like, wow, I didn't think that I needed that perspective, and I wasn't expecting it, but I did need it, As a 24-year-old who goes through different emotions, like sometimes you may say F the police and you may make it like a general thing when you only talking about a select few. So a lot of times things like that happen, very, very, I mean, I just can't even fathom that, I can't fathom that. I can't. And that was a good question, actually. That was a very good question. And from the detective's standpoint, I wanted to ask him, like, how do you feel every time you have a crime scene to go to? How do you feel every time walking through a crime scene and doing the different procedures? Like, do you ever cry? Do you wait till you get home? Because I be thinking about stuff like that. I do. I be thinking like, damn, do they cry when they get in the car? Because I don't know if I can hold it, I mean, it's just, it don't matter who it is. To see somebody in that position, it's very sad. Very sad. And my brother, my older brother, he got killed in 94. And, you know, I can't fathom it. I can't understand that. I can't understand it. Excuse me. So did y'all watch it? Did y'all watch the documentary? Thank you. I appreciate that. It made me feel like, damn, like I wish my mother would get up there, and voice how she feel, and maybe that ease some of her pain. But I don't know. I you can't force nobody to do that. You can't force nobody to relive something that was very traumatic. So, hey, let me see. But yeah, this is like. Let me look at my little cards real quick. And I feel like, as far as like police and detectives go, it takes a lot of courage. Because I'm telling you right now, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I mean, I just couldn't do it. It takes a lot. And they go through a lot. And that's something that we can't forget. But we do gotta single out the ones that's murdering us and hold them accountable. They also talked about that in the documentary too, police corruption, which, sometimes I found it good, right? Because sometimes police, when police do wrong, other police want to sweep it under the rug, right? And they talked about it. They talked about how they felt about their peers being indicted and charged, and sentenced. And I thought it was good. It was a good thing. It was a good thing to do. Okay. Boom. All right. They also talked about Marion Barry and his legacy, and how much they respected him and still respect him to this day. And I stand by that too. Like, I'm from a different generation, but I stand on that. I stand on not disrespecting somebody because of their downfalls. I stand on that. And I feel like the younger generation, they know nothing about that. If somebody say something about a crackhead, or they see a crackhead, they gonna laugh. It's not funny. I can tell you it's not funny. And I've never laughed. I feel like it's more of a trigger because I have certain family members that are heavily addicted. A lot of people not going to say that. A lot of people not going to be honest. They not. But it affects me, in certain ways. And it's a huge trigger. But it's also motivation to never be that. It's also motivation to stay focused. It's nothing to laugh about. Being addicted to anything drug-wise or whatever you want to say, it's not funny. It's not funny at all. And the generation under me has to learn. The generation under me is very lost. And their parents are quite young, but that's not no excuse. It's not no excuse. And it's sad. I got a child myself, and you can't feed your children to the wolves. You just can't. You can't, because they're going to get eaten alive. It's been many a times where I was out late in the DC streets, shouldn't have been, and got approached. Guns on me. Just a little girl. Shouldn't have been out. They shouldn't have did it, but I shouldn't have been out. And that's just me being honest. A lot of these young kids is not going to hold themselves accountable either. And nobody else is, except for the judge and the jury. And when the minute that they realize that, they'll be okay. The minute, just that second that they realize that, they'll be all right. But they don't. It's just like, who are the parents? I want to know. You right, Carlo. I agree with you. The soul and flavor, it is gone. It is gone. And I mean, I could say, I wish I was born earlier, but I was born at the right time. I was born in 96. So I was born at the right time. But at the same time, I mean, it gotta be somewhat better than this, but they don't want to better themselves. They don't want to better themselves. And it's like they quit. They quit the marathon early and just resort to extreme violence and doing very serious crimes. And you don't even know how long, what's the maximum on that. You don't know. You have no idea what the maximum is. It's a shame. They look at their paperwork, they don't even know what they're looking at. They don't know what the excuse me. And I think it was a great film too. I think it was. And it was very honest. I'm tired of DC being this way. I think that within DC, a lot of people want to make life a joke. They want to make it seem like life is a joke. Life not funny. It's some fun times, but life ain't gonna play with you either. So with these juveniles, I don't know. Like I'm glad that I made it. I made it out of high school. And I made it without getting extremely hurt. Like that. Cause I mean, they already got a lot on their shoulders, They already got a lot on their shoulders. And they don't even know that. And it's gonna be even more when they get older. It's a shame. Did y'all hear about the two 13-year-old boys that was carjacking people and got arrested and charged? 13. What type of life is that? What type of life is that? That's sad. I feel like it was already, like, when I was growing up, people like the parents of these kids that I was growing up with, they would send them out early. They would send their kids out early. And I'm talking about like 8 o'clock. And it's the weekend, or we ain't got school. You sending me out 8 o'clock, To do what? To do what? It was a recreation center around where I grew up, Berry Farms, but I never really went in there. I went in there maybe a select few times, but I can feel tension, So I don't really like that. And if you come from like a stressful household, you don't want to go nowhere outside of your house that's stressful too. And I started to feel like that. I started to feel like everywhere I turned was just stressful. And that's how DC is. That's how growing up for me was. Stressful. Very stressful. But I'm glad that I made it this far, A lot of people didn't. Sadly. I feel like it was just a shooting today. And that's why I don't be out there. I'm a content creator. So over on YouTube, I upload videos, I want to say daily, but I will say consistently. I actually have two channels, but my main channel, that's the main right there. And I just want to progress. I see a lack of anybody wanting to do anything. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. It's like you could be at war with somebody, and you know what's funny? I had more problems in my own neighborhood. And me and my siblings had more problems in our own neighborhood than anywhere else. Anywhere else. And it's kind of supposed to be reverse. But I feel like now the juveniles, they can't, everywhere you go, they at war with themselves, and they at war with everybody else because they can't come to terms with certain things. And to a fault, it's not on them because they don't have nobody to talk to. Nobody. And they come from a time where, I mean, it was like that with me too, where in my generation, they judged you off of what you wore, your shoes, how you dressed, and things like that. And that hasn't changed. So it's a lot of young girls that's growing up too fast. And see, your mom was hip, right? After a couple incidents, you would think that, my parents would be like, all right, you can't, like, just don't be going out like that. You know what I mean? Just go to school, do your whatever, right? And it was never that. So I just be like, was I more alone than I thought? Was I more alone than I thought? Because when it was guns on me, literally, I don't remember telling my mother about that. Up until recently. I just went home, got ready for bed. It was already late. Like, how do you just do that? How do you do that? I think about that too. Like, how did I just go to bed and wake up the next day like nothing happened? But it did affect me though. It did affect me. It did. It shook me to my core. And it was more so, and it's crazy to say, it was more so the look on their face. It was more so the look on their face that shook me. Because I knew they were serious. I knew they were serious. I knew I had to answer their questions. But how do you answer a question right? That's the thing. Like, it's a scary thing. A scary thing. But with me not telling nobody about it, not really talking to nobody about it except for who I was in it with, my sister. I'm glad to be here. Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately. 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 But you live and you learn. I stopped feeling a need to, or like a urge to be out, to like be out late and just walking around without like a mission and a goal. Like anytime I go out now, it's like a mission and a goal. Like I'm running errands or I'm going somewhere for leisure or whatever the case is, but I gotta make it to that destination and I gotta make it home. It's really no fucking around for me. And I mean, I'm 24, so I feel like I grew up faster and I feel older, but I do need to have a life or somewhat. But I don't know if it's going to be in this city though. Because I've never gotten close to nobody. I've never been a socialite. This live stuff, me going live, is very new, but it feel good, you know. And I'm just trying to progress, you know, doing my best to progress, doing as much as I can in a day. And watching that documentary will really help you, you know. It'll really inspire you to do more. Because you never know what's going to happen. You never know who you're going to meet that's going to be the right or wrong person to be in your life. And especially as a young woman, it's even harder. You never want to, you know, bring somebody in your life that's going to, what do you say? That's going to be detrimental to your well-being. It's on YouTube. The what's it called? The YouTube channel name is Cop Stories, and it's called 12 Years in Hell. And it's real good. You gonna enjoy it. It's real good. But yeah. And I mean, it's a lot that I don't speak on about my life, you know, on my YouTube channel. And it's a lot that I do want to say, you know, just no problem. Just being honest and getting it off my chest, because growing up in DC and living in DC, having family in DC, etc., it's hard. It's very hard. It's very hard. I mean, life just keep hitting you. And it does feel like you can't escape it. It does. It does. But I'ma always keep pushing, because, you know, just like when I go out, I got a mission and a goal. That don't change on Instagram, on social platforms, whatever. Mission and a goal. Because I do want to show the young kids that you can do more, but still be creative. You can be productive and stick to, yeah, it was. You can be productive and be your own boss too. That's number one. A lot of young kids, even, you know, teenagers, people my age, we say this and say that about having a job or whatever, but you can't resort to committing crimes. You just can't do it. I can't do it. You know, I can't go nowhere from my child. Like, I've been in foster care for a certain amount of years, or, you know, when I was a child, I really ain't had no capacity of time. So I don't know how long it was, but got shuffled around, and I refuse. I refuse to have my child in foster care. With me knowing, you know, with me knowing that I'm the only person for her. I'm a single parent. I'm the only person for her. So I knew that once I had her, I had to do something, and I'm sticking to it. And thank God, you know, by the grace of God, it's working out. I just gotta stick to my guns, you know. Because you never know where you're going to end up. Thank you so much. You never know where you're going to end up, whether that be positive or negative. And I've already done stuff. Like, I've already done stuff when you desperate for money. And I'm not going there. I'm not going there again. I knew I had to do something. I knew it was time. It's no more time for excuses. Because life is going to beat you the fuck up anyway. It's going to throw challenges your way that you got to be strong enough to handle. Because if you're not, you're going to get consumed. Like, I done lost too many people. Too many good people, actually. Good people. To just be sitting on my ass. And then it's crazy, like I see a lot of the people that I went to school with. I went to Ballou. I see a lot of the people that I went to school with grieving, grieving over other people that went to the same school, or people that I seen in passing, or whatever the case was. And I've just never gotten too close to anybody, A lot of people can say that I've been an associate to them, like, a in passing type of deal, but never got too close. You can't trust a lot of people. You just can't. And I realized in hanging around a couple broads or whatever, I realized it's too much shit. I'm better by myself. I can work harder by myself. I don't have to be responsible for nobody else by myself, And being in DC, really, being from DC, really put me in position to be strong. Because you got to learn from what you see and what you go through. You got to. You got to. Or you're going to be lost. And I see that firsthand in my family, with my siblings. And it do hurt, It hurts when you, what can I say? When you grow up with siblings, but y'all end up having like a different perspective, like a totally different perspective on the same things. That's a challenge for me. That's a challenge. Such as like addiction and just ignoring it. And you know what's crazy? A lot of people say having a support system. I've never known that. I've never known that. Like, I grew up in a two... I wish you could have went my shit. I grew up in a two-parent household, but it wasn't appropriate, It wasn't appropriate, and then once I needed advice or needed support, it just wasn't there, Growing up in DC, you gotta really have strong, tough skin too, because you're gonna get let down by the people that you least expect. By the people that you least expect. My main challenge has been family. Friends, that really never meant much to me. Because they a turn too, I expect it, I expect it. And a lot of people don't know that. Like, a lot of people don't know that I don't have no support system behind what I do. I mean, I tell my folks here and there of what I'm doing and of what I'm into and what I'm talking about this week, because I'm excited for it. Any video that I do, I'm excited for it. But you know what? The response is, you don't get like that warm feeling back. It's like kind of cold, like, oh, okay. Like, it's not that big of a deal. And it's mainly because people don't really, I don't want to say they don't believe in the vision. What's up? I don't want to say they don't believe in the vision, but they just don't see it as clear as you. And it's sad to say, like, if it don't come with a huge paycheck in the first beginning, it ain't going to be no cheering. It ain't going to be no yay. It ain't going to be none of that. Nothing. I haven't had it. Yeah, I agree with that. Some people don't celebrate you until they see great strides. I was going through that with my family. Yeah. A big paycheck. And it sucks that DC is like that. And I know that there's other places that's like that as well. But man, man, it sucks. I definitely will keep going. I definitely will. None of it will stop me. I always turn it into motivation. Motivation. And that's what it's all about. I mean, DC, if you don't get motivation from walking through DC or driving through or however you going to pull up, if you don't get motivation from it, I don't know what you're going to get. But I do want to take it far. You know, I do want to take it far and show DC in a different light. I'm tired of, people going to different hoods and talking to select people about who they beefing with and all that. We're not talking about that. We're not talking about that. It's too much bloodshed anyway. That's not going to be on my name. And a lot of people want me to be like that. They want me to go through certain hoods. I'm from Berry Farms. Okay? I'm not finna go through any and every hood. And it's not because I'm from Berry Farms like, oh, somebody gonna say, ain't you from Berry Farms? It ain't like that. It's like, I know the dangers. I've done that before. I'm not about to catch people in their element. Hold on. I'm not about to catch people in their element and I'm with a camera and etc. etc. Like, How do you find and maintain your strength? I really think about where I want to be and the position that tell me, can I be your man? In a position that this shit just threw me off. How do you find strength? All right, hold on. How do you find and maintain your strength? I think about where I want to be. I think about the position that I want to put my child in, and I just think about being happy. Like I'm one thing I'm tired of doing is being sad. I'm tired of being sad. Cause I realize like it's too much to be sad about. I can pick out like a fucking basket, Oh, okay. I'm in here rapping. Anyways, how do I add? Your story, how make it good. But yeah, I definitely think about. Let me figure out how this Let me figure out how this Instagram live thing work. 1 second, I'm gonna figure this out. And you got Mitch on now. Okay, I'm about to figure out how it work. This is my first time on here. Hold on. Uh-oh. How do I do it?